Well, for it to be the first race, I don't really have too many major criticisms. Obviously, Joe, you just mentioned, some of the things didn't go right graphics wise, and I'm sure that they already know that by now. So they're going to be working on that. By the time we get to Thermal Club, we'll probably see some improvements there. And I'm just gonna go down the line of names that you mentioned. Will Buxton, for first time being play-by-play for IndyCar. Yeah, I honestly didn't think he did as bad as of a job as some of my two co-hosts Matt White and Joshua Birch expected that he would do. Yeah, and it was like I say, it was the first race for Will. I'm sure he's going to continue to get more comfortable in the role and improve over time. But I honestly thought Will Buxton did a great job. Although I got kind of nervous there towards the end with 2 laps to go, I thought he was about to have a Marty Reed moment and called him to the line 1 lap early because he was talking about the final lap on with 2 laps to go, and I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but I honestly got a little concerned there for
Yeah.
Will Buxton. Even if he thought it was the final lap, I hope someone whispered into his ear, be like, "No, we got 2 laps to go," and play it at all. But I honestly thought it was about to call the race 1 lap early, and I was getting a little concerned. But hopefully that wasn't the case. And then Jack Harvey, new pit road reporter, he admitted on his social media that this is a challenge for him, something new that he's going to work hard to improve throughout the year. I think for his first time being a pit road reporter, especially with no practice, he admitted that that his first time practicing for this, was when he went out, to do this, during first practice and all of that. So Jack's going to grow in the role, and Jamie Little, I think she was a good replacement for Georgia Hannaberry, until she's coming back because Jamie, she has IndyCar experience. I remember growing up watching IndyCar on ABC. She was in the pit lanes there, so she knows IndyCar well. And then the other things is also important for the fans to have those familiar voices and Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe, and Kevin Lee working on pit road as well. And I really like the starting lineup, how they went all the way they went from the top of the grid to the very back of the grid with the drivers saying their name and where they're from. It kind of gave me that Sunday night football feel when they were doing that, and you can tell Fox has really put in a lot of effort into IndyCar on Fox, and I think it showed. Was the broadcast perfect by any means? No, 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 it wasn't. And there's no perfect broadcast out there, but I could tell that Fox is serious about IndyCar and promoting the sport and helping it grow. So I'm still optimistic that this is going to end up being a good deal for IndyCar at the end of the race. I know IndyCar.com had some issues with its timing and score and the website in general at the start of the race, and we can only hope that's because of all of the promotions that Fox has been doing and an increase of marketing IndyCar in general. Hopefully the website crashed because there's an increased interest of IndyCar, which will be a fantastic thing for the sport. But good thing they eventually got it back up because I think IndyCar has a lot of potential. And I think Joseph Newgarden said, I can't remember if it was during practice qualifying or race today, but he said that IndyCar has a really great story. You just need someone to really go out there and just tell it. And hopefully Fox will do a great job at telling it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's funny, Kobe, because you were touching on your final point, what I was going to bring up first. And that's, if the racing is great, then the production of the racing is kind of secondary to that. So as long as the drivers and teams, show up and put on a good race, then, IndyCar on a major network is going to bloom and thrive, I think. But I did have a few nitpicks with the broadcast. They acted like Push to Pass was like the boogeyman. They would not talk about it for most of the event. It was kind of odd that they wouldn't talk about that as a hyper component at all. And I am a little concerned as to why they didn't. Like I had to go to the IndyCar app, which if you don't have it and you do watch IndyCar, definitely recommend downloading it because it has a bunch of great timing and scoring stuff. Unfortunately, if you were trying to access their website today, you may have had a little bit of trouble to start the event. But at the end of the day, like I had a couple of problems with Will Buxton. I definitely was getting he was definitely hammering the nail in the final coffin there, 1 lap a little too early, unfortunately. But thankfully, it seems like maybe Townsend or Hinch probably elbowed him. And was like, it's 2 laps to go. So we were able to get back on course. I definitely felt like the ticker was taking up way too much space on the screen in a lot of cases. So maybe they can fiddle with that a little bit. Like, I understand that, some of the names are quite long. Like you have like Newgarden out there. It's a lot of letters, and McLaughlin, and you have to fit them all on the screen. But man, I felt like the font was really, really large in a lot of cases. So maybe shrink the font size down a little bit and make room for like tire compounds, and are they using their hybrid, or how many push to pass seconds do they have left? They've got to get a little bit better at those like smaller things, I think, as far as the presentation and just the commentary are concerned. But overall, it was a pretty clean broadcast. I think Jamie Little did a great job in her spot gig. She is a phenomenal pit reporter. I hear a lot of people say a lot, like, why is she in the NASCAR Truck Series booth when she's such a great pit reporter? And I kind of agree with that. But her interview in Victory Lane with Alex Palou was fantastic and helped really keep his energy up throughout it. And I think that in order to help sell IndyCar a little bit more to the more casual race fan, you're going to have to, endear them to these drivers' personalities. And Jamie Little did a really good job in Victory Lane of helping bring Palou's personality out. Overall, I think Fox did a 7.5 out of 10 job today. And honestly, for a first crack at it, that's pretty solid. And I would just like Will Buxton just speed up how he talks just a little bit, because it honestly felt like he was thinking before saying every single word today.
I do know, Tanner, that he himself has said that he's a chronically quick talker. So I don't know if he's just very conscious of that. I don't know. I will say before, I agree with both you and Kobe. Matt and Joshua, if you're watching, since Kobe name dropped you on the air, this is your chance to say if you agree with where you previously stood about your predictions of Buxton's performance. But I agree with everything that's been said. Obviously, as someone who loves this series, was really curious, slightly concerned what was going to happen moving from NBC to Fox. I think, listen, something needed to happen, right? Like, there is clearly a viewership problem with getting butts into seats at these races. So something needs to take place to kind of spark change. And initially, those marketing promotions coming from Fox, that is setting the tone that you are in for a rebranding. This is edgy. This is fun. This is rock and roll. The intro to today's race, having Motley Crue kick us off, like, that is just the perfect tone. Again, I have some nitpicks here and there with the rebranding. It seems like Fox is really trying to get these new viewers to tune in and to kind of set up, the new audiences joining us. Please, Fox, thermal, or some point this season, please bring back the timers for pit stops and explain the importance of when you have a slow stop. The regular watchers can tell when something is slow, or like how devastating not getting Colton Herta's like rear tire on is going to end his race, but the casual watcher may not pick up on that. So again, very nitpicky. I think Buxton was fine. I think the trio is going to figure out their cadence. It kind of felt like some of the bantering from Townsend and Inch wasn't as prominent as it normally would have been on NBC. But maybe that's not a bad thing. I don't know. I missed it, but I'm excited. It's a new era. I really want this to work on Fox, because ultimately I want everyone to fall in love with the series that we all love so dearly.
It was a lot of fun. Great to see Fox, and overall seems to be positive. We'll be interested to see how the race will turn out later this week. In the chat room, Adam, get rid of the cartoons. I feel the cartoons, like, I heard the story of the purpose behind them. That just something, though. They weren't prominently featured like compared to NASCAR and the NFL, but they did show up here and there. And it's like, well, okay, it is Fox, but overall, like, everything that was said, from the music, the presentation, tweaks here and there that could be worked out. Looking forward to what they bring at Barber Motorsports Park.